हेलो। हाँ बोल। नाही नाही मला आता लेक्चर देतो मी, वेळ लागेल मला. नाही सांगता येत नाही तरी बराच वेळ लागेल. तू ये मग बघू आपण. हा ते तू ये मग बघू आपण. आता नाही सांगता तुला लेक्चर देतो, वेळ लागेल. Okay guys, topic for today then. The topic for today is poisoned pawn, and the point of this lecture is to tell you that there are offerings which are actually a bait, and then you must not fall for these traps. So we are going to see some examples from actual games. I won't mind if you actually have your notepad or something with you, because then that's definitely going to help you understand this better. Let me also know if the music and my voice is perfectly audible and everything. One thing that you want to observe today is that you have to realize that there is this blue box here, which will be for giving you the countdown if I wish to take a break or give you some time to think. That is going to be where the countdown clock, the countdown timer will appear. Okay, hi Soumitra, and great. Good to see Soumitra that you're not missing the start. And I will say it again that the best thing is you probably would see the games from the starting positions. Some of them are my home preparations, and some of them that are very popular but probably new for you. So let's get started. The name of the lecture, the theme of this lecture, the topic for this lecture is the poison pawn. All of you should make a note of that. And be very careful when you play your games. Poisoned pawn. So let me at the start of this lecture tell you what is a poisoned pawn exactly. Well, poisoned pawn is a bait, as I've said at the start. It's basically when your opponent offers you a pawn, but it's not just a typical gambit which you see. It is, I mean, the game has begun, and then there is this pawn which is being offered to you, and of course, if you don't if you don't play properly, if you're not alert, if you don't watch out, then you will fall in big trouble. Let's get started. If you have a notebook or some notepad with you, that is absolutely advisable. And my first game is going to be in the French defense, where white has to remember this particular plan. He can trap black by offering a poison pawn. So let's get started. The game begins with white playing e4 and the black plays e6. This is the French defense. White should definitely play d4, capturing, going for the center. Black plays d5 immediately, taking care that he is not falling any, you're not behind white in development and in center control. Here there are many ways to deal with the opening. White could play knight c3, white could play e takes d5. Though this is a very common trap I'm showing you. This is from a common preparation against the French. This is not exactly my game. I have won some games with this idea, but this one in particular is just an idea that I'm sharing with you. So this one is very important to study. So what happens here is that you have the following moves. You can either go for knight c3, which is called the Wiener variation. You can go for e takes d5, which will be the exchange. You can go for e5, which is the advanced. Those are the kind of, and you can also go for knight d2, which is known as the Tarash variation. It's very important that you realize right at the third move of the game, there are so many things that you have to understand. Game and the plan I'm showing you is in the advanced. Hi Kshitij. The game I'm showing you here involves a trap in the advanced variation. So what happens is white plays okay, we'll go for the Wiener variation first. So the knight c3 variation, black took, knight recaptures, and knight f6. Now in this position, the way black played isn't exactly accurate. The actual move in the theory is that you play either knight here, or you go for the standard bishop b4, which is a proper Wiener variation, like that, something like that. That's how you have to do it. But here, I don't know, black just probably takes, and white took, and black played knight to f6. Okay. Now knights were swapped, exchange of knights, knight takes f6, queen takes f6, and white continued development, knight s3, black played knight to c6, and bishop g5 attacking the queen. So, good players will always tell you, they'll tell you not to develop the queen early, simply because the queen is always harassed by minor pieces. As you can see here, already the queen has moved, and now she will have to move again, because now the bishop is attacking. Bishop is supported by the knight. In the game, queen f5 was played. She can again be harassed, so bishop d3, queen g4 was played. So if you see, this is the disadvantage of moving the queen too early in the game. If you develop your queen early in the game, then well, you have to pay a price for that. The minor pieces will harass the queen, and the queen just has to move about, trying to save herself, find a safe place, which is difficult to get in the opening. Here white played h3, and which means that this particular pawn here on g2 is the poisoned pawn that we are talking about. The pawn on g2 that is offered to black is the poisoned pawn. And my question to you is, what happens when black queen takes the pawn? And here I'm going to ask you to wait a couple of minutes, and then we will continue. Whenever we reach the point where there is a poison pawn, we'll think for some time. I'm going to offer you 2 minutes of time, and so let's set the time. 2 minutes. Think about what will happen if Just think about it. You can enjoy music. All right. Right. The time is almost up. Now we can definitely start. So let's continue with this. And what we are going to do here is study the line with geometry for start. So black takes on g2 and you play rook g1, then you're hanging your h3 pawn. That is not what the answer is. Actually, rook h2 traps the queen. It's a very nice thing to know. Rook h2 will trap the queen. And in the game, black was really sad that he took that pawn on g2. The queen now has no escape. The black queen is completely trapped. It's a very sad thing, but the reality. And queen for all purposes is trapped. The best thing black thought could be done is that the queen takes at least 5 points, followed by the knight taking another point. So at least 6 points for losing the queen. That is what black thought was the best thing could be done. Alright. So black took, white took the queen. Happy that the trap worked. Knight takes d4. And now the game finished in a very nice way. Very subtle, very sweet. Black has just played knight takes d4. Can you think of the best move for white here? So the poison pawn worked well. The pawn on g2 was the poison pawn. We've achieved we have achieved our aim. The objective was to win the queen. We've done that. And then now the finish in particular is worth learning here. So what do you think did white play here? White did the way the game ends is also just as interesting as the queen trap was. So I hope yes, Soumitra, that's the idea. Bishop b5 check. Absolutely right. Bishop b5 check. So you have bishop b5 check, and suddenly now you can see the trap here. If it was in the game, c6 was played, just to show you, if knight takes b5, then queen just super calculation here. So very important. Knight clearance was achieved. The knight took that free bishop. What a beautiful finish. However, as I said, in the game that was not what happened. In the game, Black realized that it's going to be checkmate, and there was a check. So c6 was played indeed. Yep. And after c6, White still takes on d4, because again, if Black plays c takes b5, then the same checkmate occurs to the board. So White took it, and Black still cannot take the bishop. A beautiful thing. Cannot still take the knight. So it's amazing it happens. So Black tried f6. Now both the bishops are attacked, so he thought that he's going to get at least one of his pieces back. That's what he thought was going to happen. And the point is that the damage done to Black's position is irreparable. It's beyond repairs, really. So yeah. Here, how should White continue? Both the bishops are attacked. So what should be the way for White to continue from here? You've gotten the queen. There's a very good end that can be achieved as well. Just a quick finish. How? Long castling. Okay. Bishop e2 was actually played. Long castling is a good try, of course, with the threat of queen d8. But you must understand that if you in this position long castle, then you have left out this f7 square. So you have to protect one of the bishops. So bishop e2 was played. Black promptly took a piece back. Bishop h5 check. Now look at the beauty here. Hello Lakshmish, welcome. The point is that after bishop h5 check, suddenly if you play g6, there is always the danger of queen takes h8. And we will see both the lines. I mean, there's no doubt Black is already lost. Relatively pinned, not an absolute pin, but relatively pinned. So if you play g6, it's queen takes h8, and I hope everybody here realizes what is an absolute pin and what is a relative pin. So here it is relatively pinned, that pawn g7 is, and in the game, king e7. And now you have to think about a beautiful finish. White long castle. Now, why did Black played g6? And I'm going to tell you why here. Let's give Black some token move here. He played g6, sacrificing for a reason. Let's give Black a token move here. e6. Let's give Black a token move. a6. Now, can you think of the best move here for White? What is the main danger here? Black played a6. Let's assume that he played a6. Actually, in the game g6 was played. We'll continue with that line. But let's say if Black played a6 here for a moment, what do you do? In this position it is white to play. Absolutely, Kshitij. Queen d8, indeed, it is checkmate. What a beautiful finish. Queen d8 is definitely checkmate. So that's why, keeping that in mind, Black had to play g6 because any other move Queen d8 is made in that given position. If you had played Bishop d7, then that also wouldn't work exactly, because if you play Bishop d7, it's just a hanging piece. You have this queen supported by the rook, but it doesn't work really. So everything that Black plays is bad for him. So he just thought, maybe I'll create the f7 escape move for my king, and I'll play g6, so that if white takes the rook, at least I take the bishop and become an exchange down. That is what Black must have thought in the game. He finally played g6. Now my question is, having this position, okay, having arrived in this position, what should white do? Is there any fancy line that you see, or is it just okay to take the rook? Think about it. White to play. Bishop takes g6. Sumitra thinks bishop takes g6. Really? Bishop takes g6? So you mean that this bishop should take the pawn, and then after Black recaptures you could take. But what if after bishop takes g6 Black plays rook g8? Isn't that a possibility? Or you say that can happen because again Queen d8 checkmate. Is that one of your thoughts? But if yes, let me show you finally what exactly happened. Okay, let's see what happened here. Knight g5. What a way to finish this. The point is that if now Black decides to take on h5, there is this beautiful finish. We find the finish here. White to play. Remarkable finish here. White to play in this position. Take your time. Why did White sacrifice the bishop? What's the point? Then f6 check, king e8, rook d8, checkmate. Okay, so Sumitra has seen this. Queen f6 check. First move for black, king e8 and rook d8 is indeed checkmate. Beautiful. That is why the yes. Point is that White had seen this before giving the bishop, which is why actually in the game we'll find out that that is not exactly the way it all panned out. Well, Kshitij, I'm sorry, your network is not working. Oh, so sad. Try to log in. Meanwhile, Soumitra, you were spot on with the answer. That is awesome calculation. Okay, let's go back to this position. After White played knight g4, Black did not take the bishop. In fact, he went back with his king to e8. Again, it is White to play. See if you can find out what happens with this variation. White to play here. Any important line that you see in this position? Welcome back. So Kshitij says that he's back. Got his connection sorted. Anyway, so what is the way White is going to continue here? Do you see the plan? Probably should get rid of the countdown window, simply because I'm not offering you any positions at the moment, at least. Do you think it is queen d8 check here first? Hey, hi Sayam. We have got students from Kalyan joining in. Yes, that is awesome. So Sayam, you've joined us at the right time here, and the question is that in this position it's right to play, and is queen d8 check the continuation, and if yes, then how do we arrive at the checkmate? How is this winning? By the way, Sayam, the lecture for today is the poisoned pawn. I repeat for all those who just joined in. We are dealing with the poisoned pawn. It is when your opponent offers you a pawn, and thoughtlessly, if you go ahead and capture, you might land in big trouble. Which happened with Black in this game. And we have arrived at this position. So it's queen d8 continuation. We have changed the background score today. You must have noticed. Like this track as well. So Soumitra thinks that queen d8 check isn't exactly the way to go. Okay. Kshitij also thinks that that is not the way for white to proceed. But if you give this check, king f7, queen f6 check, and now he has to play king g8, because as we have seen the last time, if king e8 then rook d8 is checkmate. So king g8, how do you finish now? It's to be done. To go to g8. Now how do you finish this? It's a beautiful finish this. Try to think of one more move here in this game, and then we will run through this game one more time. What is now the winning move? It doesn't have to be flamboyant every time. This can be a simple move that can win you the game. What do you think is really good here? So knight h6 check, he thinks. Bishop takes h6, rook d8 check. So he thinks that that's the way to proceed with knight f6 check, knight h6 check. King has nowhere to go. Bishop has to take rook check. Again, the king has nowhere to go. Bishop, and then he says queen takes f8 is checkmate. Even Siam thinks that it is knight h6. Knight h6 is not checkmate immediately. Knight h6 and then the line follows. Knight h6 check, Siam. But then bishop takes h6, rook d8 check, bishop f8 to block it. Queen takes f8 is indeed checkmate. However, that is not the shortest. That is correct, but not the shortest win for white. The shortest win for white, believe it or not, is the move knight e5. Do you see the thread why knight e5 is better? In the moves that you calculated, it runs for 3 moves. But the way knight e5 works is a simple threat on f7. So the threat is absolutely dead easy. It's queen f7 checkmate. So the point is that is an absolutely unstoppable checkmate threat. What do you do to queen f7? You cannot stop queen f7 check, or rather checkmate. Beautiful. Black resigned here. No way to stop it, Samitra. You're absolutely right. There is no way to stop this. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to run through the game one more time, and we are going to see how it all happened. So let's rewind it a little bit, and I'm sure that at the start of the lecture I said you probably have your notepad with you, and if you do have a notepad, I want you to actually write down this game, or at least make some notes. Let's go to the start of this game and let's see what exactly happened. So here you go. e4, e6, d4, d5, knight c3, start of the Vinaver variation of the French, but black's move is unusual. D takes e5, knight takes e5, d takes e4, knight takes e4, beg your pardon. Knight f6, knight takes f6 check, queen takes f6, knight f3, knight c6, and because the queen has developed herself and brought out herself in the game too early. There's the harassment. There's the punishment. Bishop g5, queen f5, bishop d3. Queen has to keep moving. And here was the point where white offered the poisoned pawn g2. I want you to remember. So the poisoned pawn is on the g2. The point that g2 pawn offers is after queen takes. As Saumitra said earlier, rook h2 is not the right move. So after setting trap for the black in which black has promptly fallen into, you don't play a move like rook h2. The correct continuation. Saumitra, do you remember the move now? What is to be done after black queen takes the pawn on g2? When we did it the first time, you said rook h2. You've seen that that is so not what trapping the queen is. Sorry, you said rook g1. Oh yeah. Rook h2 is right. What you had said is rook g1. So rook h2 indeed is correct. Rook g1 is wrong. What you have said, yes, you had said rook g1. So remember this, when you set the trap and the opponent falls for it, just continue with the correct way. Now black thought that the best thing he can do is take the rook, take the pawn, and he takes 6 points for the 9 points that he is going to lose. And so he took the rook, white took back, and knight took on b4. And now bishop b5 check. It's a nice discovered check. And if knight takes b5, queen d8 is checkmate. This is just beautiful. Such a piece of aesthetic brilliance. Just amazing. If knight takes the bishop. So knight takes b5 was not played. In fact, black blocked the check with c6. And queen takes d4, f6. Both the bishops are hanging. Bishop e2. Black took the bishop on g5. Now bishop h5 check. That's probably the place where Siam joined us, if I'm not wrong. The point was that if g6, then rook is hanging. So in the game, king e7 was played. White long castles. f7 is the escape square that the king requires here. So the threat is of course queen d8 checkmate. So g6 and then knight g4. Disregarding that g6 move, not going for queen takes h8, and after g takes h5, we have queen f6, rook d8 checkmate. But in the game, king e8, queen d8 check, king f7, queen f6, king g8. If king e8, of course this is rook mate as earlier seen. So king g8, and then what Saumitra calculated, knight h6 check, bishop takes, rook check, bishop blocks, queen takes mate. But the faster move is knight e5, and there is simply no way to stop queen f7 checkmate. Really interesting. Absolutely interesting. It's a brilliant combination. We will go ahead and see one more of this beautiful, one of those beautiful games in this particular team, White and Pawn. So get ready for the next game. Again, I will remind you of keeping your notebook with you. Take notes, write down the game if you find that you can do that, then play with us if you're very familiar with the notation, or else at least make note of the key points. You can always go back and watch this later when it is archived into our videos library in our channel, but always take notes. So you ready to go to the next one? We proceed to the next game. It's the center game that we are going to talk about here. So Mitra is asking, can you play a live game on leeches? Well, we will see. We will take a call on that after this game. There is on the agenda one more game to be studied, so we will decide about that after this game. Now I'm saying that this is again a trap that white should remember, and it is in the center game, and this is the one trap that has won me many games. At least it's a typical beginner trap. So e4, e5, the Danish gambit of the center game, move d4, very popular, and black defends it incorrectly with s6. Now the point is, we all know that from this position you do have this queen takes h8, the trap where queen h5 check, queen takes e5. But again, I'm going to show you a poison pawn theme here. So let's see how this continues. Of course, you take the pawn, black recaptures. That means that he has opened up this dangerous diagonal. You should never open that diagonal. It's a typical amateur mistake. Okay, Shita just asking if we can do positions, but no positions for this session. We'll do positions the next time. Today's theme is the poison pawn, so I'm going to deal with that. But of course, we will always keep doing positions, no doubt about that, but not for this session. So I hope you all know that this is a dangerous diagonal, as I said. So queen h5 check, black blocks the check with g6. Queen takes e5 is a fork, so it's a check and you win the rook. But what is that got to do with the poison pawn variation? Now here you go. After this fork, black blocked the check with the queen here, not with the bishop, with the queen. So after queen takes h8, black takes on e4, gives white a check. That's the thing. That is the point that I want to make. Everybody knew that the fork happens and the queen gets to h8. But now here is the main thing. If black blocks the check with the queen, take on h8, let black give the check on e4, and surprisingly, black queen is attacking three things here. He is also threatening that if you block the check with the bishop, it's going to play. If you block the check with the bishop, then he is going to take on the g2 thing. So we have to keep in mind all these threats. But the poisoned pawn, king d1, some of the things. You're in for a surprise. We're dealing with the poisoned pawn, and king d1 isn't the move. King d1 is the move when the move order is with e4, e5, knight f3, and f6. Here in this game, what happened was e4, e5, e4, and f6. There's a significant difference. Then king d1 for such a check is perfect, but not in this line. Very important. This one happened after e4, e5, b4 and f6. Here, believe it or not, we are going to block the check with the bishop, and this g2 pawn will be the poisoned pawn. I've said this and I'll say it again. I have won many games like this against beginners, because they seize this opportunity to click on g2 and they think, yes, I'm going to win my opponent's rook on h1, but the pawn is a poisoned pawn, the theme for the lecture today. So black takes on g2. Now you have to give yourself a minute to find out what happens. Poisoned pawn on g2. So Soumitra is saying if queen takes g2, then bishop f3. Does everybody agree with that? Is that the way it continues? How does this one go? Absolutely right. Bishop f3 and the poor queen is trapped. I'm making it clear again. See how the poison pawn theme is. Pawn is being offered. It's not a part of the gambit or something. The game has begun, and then the pawn is offered as a plan, as a trap. There could not be a better term than poison pawn, really. So it's just amazing that you know of such traps. Queen has nowhere to go. That queen is trapped. The best move here for black is actually to just take 5 points and give up the queen. Yes, Kshitij, you agree with Soumitra, and that is the right answer. The queen has been trapped. Alright. Now, the lecture goes on for another 12 minutes, so we'll have absolutely 1 hour lecture. So Soumitra, I would suggest that instead of playing a game, at least when I have to give the lecture, it has to be a 5-minute game or something. So we'll do the lecture the next time. We'll probably deal with a poison pawn. We can do 1 more game. Okay, we'll deal with the games, the unleashers, in the next coaching session, along with some positions. But let's stick to today's theme of poisoned pawn. But before we go to the next game, let's quickly recap what happened in this one. So let's rewind. Okay, so e4, e5. Soumitra, not knight f3, but d4, center game, f6, d takes e5, f6, e5, the dangerous diagonal, queen h5 check, g6, queen takes e5 check, black blocks with the queen, important to remember, queen takes h8, black takes the pawn and gives check. Now bishop e2, the poisoned pawn is g2, queen takes g2, bishop f3, and the queen has nowhere to go. This is important to remember if you're playing the center game against some amateur. So if you had to take a notes, we'll proceed to our last game for today in the theme, the poisoned pawn. Are you ready for the final one? Take a notes for this game, I hope so. Yeah, and the background score has changed. It's a very important thing, I'm sure that you've noticed. You don't want something that really is irritating, nothing soft and thing, but something inspiring. I hope that is what the music was. The next theme in the next game in this theme of Poison Pawn, I will show you a game from Smith-Morra Gambit. So it is against the Sicilian, again a trap that the white must learn. So the game in this Poison Pawn theme, the one I'm showing you, is e4, black plays c5. Well, that is a Sicilian defense. There are many ways to handle the Sicilian defense. The point is that white can continue with knight f3. Knight f3 is the most popular one, and if you're in a mood of gambit, then e4, which is how I play. So d4, and black plays the Smith-Morra Gambit decline d6. So it's not the Smith-Morra accepted, it's the Smith-Morra decline variation. So if you are thinking that d6 is very bad because then you can just play c takes d takes c5, and black will recapture with d takes c5, and you will be able to take his queen, give a check, he will recapture with the king, and he will lose his castling rights. If you are thinking like that, then you couldn't be wrong. Hi Gopesh, thanks for joining. You joined in a little late, I must say. We are dealing with our last game's theme for today was the Poison Pawn. So I'm sure you can watch this lecture tomorrow online. But anyway, I was saying that if you are of the opinion here that it is very simple for white, you can just take the pawn on c5, d takes c5, and then after d takes c5, you play queen takes d8 check, king takes d8, and you can make black lose castling. If you are thinking like that, as I've mentioned, that is not how black responds. If you really go ahead and play the move d takes c5, the way black recaptures is not with this pawn. The way black plays is queen a5 check, and then knight c3, and then recaptures on c5. Very important to note such subtleties that black can, accept. He is not going to take and lose castling now, castling rights here. So that is the way it goes. But anyway, going back to the way this trap is, white plays d5, advancing the pawn, queen check, bishop blocks the check, no need for the knight, you can actually win a tempo on the queen. Queen b6, and we play knight c3 and the poison pawn. I want you to think for about a minute or two in this position, see what happens the moment white queen takes on b2 pawn. Poison pawn is the b2 pawn. What happens after queen takes d2? It's very interesting actually. We are looking at the poisoned pawns, and so we have arrived at the situation where this pawn b2 is a poisoned pawn. Black takes and black is in trouble. You see how. faces now is that saving the queen and supporting c7 is not possible because of the fact that a5 is taken by the bishop. Our bishop controls a5, so queen cannot go to a5 into both. What happens then? Of course, the queen is important. There is no doubt about that. Now what happens? Queen a4. Let's take a look at queen a4 first. I'm going to take a look at queen a4 first. Of course, the queen can take the a2 pawn. Don't forget that. But I'm going to take a look at queen a4 first. If queen a4, then white has a beautiful attack. Knight takes d6 check. Do you see why white has offered this knight? If you can calculate this, why has white offered the knight? It's a big deal. Not knight c7. Knight takes d6 stoppage. Knight takes d6 check. So, what is it? Why is it that white gave the knight? Hello, Arthaya. You're almost. You're saying hello when it's time to say goodbye. But anyway, Arthaya, you're welcome. I hope you're busy preparing for your exams. But now, Arthaya, you've joined us at the time when we are discussing the poison pawn, and white has just offered the knight. Yes, people have seen this. Kshitij is right. Gopesh has now seen it. The point of this is that if black takes the knight, then you have bishop check, bishop b5 check, and it is such a deadly check. Beautiful, isn't it? A fork, of course, and supported by the rook. So that is the reason why white offered the knight on d6. Now, going back, we said that we'll take a look at queen a4 first, but here if queen takes a2, then what happens? We have seen what happens if queen a4 is played. That's where you can sacrifice and then give a check or something. Of course, before we go that, let us consider one more subtlety. Queen a4, knight makes the sacrifice, but what if instead of taking the knight, what if black understands that there's bishop b5 and actually king d8 is played? Now what happens? Consider this and let me know, please. What happens now is, it's very important to understand this. What if king d8? here that you can line. But wait to continue for white. What can be done here? The move really is this fork. Very important. Knight takes f7. Absolutely. Absolutely. Knight takes f7. That indeed is what happens in the game. So knight f7 check. And now the beauty is black can still be on a dark square. King c7. Then what do you do? So Mitra has an answer to that. Think king c7 check. f5. How can he play f5? I mean, there is no pawn on f7. So can you correct yourself? Artha is saying knight takes f7 check, king e8, bishop e5, but then you will go king c7. Yes. After king c7, you have bishop f4 check. Notice that now king doesn't have any more dark squares left. That's the beauty of it. Then what happens now? So Soumitra is correcting himself. He's saying, sir, e5. Well, that's right. e5. Yep. So black can play e5. No need to take the en passant capture. There is no reason to. Just remember, this en passant capture is possible, but then you don't want to take that because pawn is not protected. So you simply take that with the bishop. And now the last, really last hope, everything is lost, is bishop d6. But after bishop takes d6, notice that the knight's support. And now black king has to go onto the light square, and then you go for bishop e5 check. This is amazing. This is amazing. After this, we have to take a look at the other part of the story. Remember, this variation started. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to this point. Yeah. To this point. Yeah, to this point. Now we just saw the variations for queen a4. But there is now the variation that we have to see. What if queen takes a2? That is the variation that we have not seen thus far. What if queen a2? After queen takes a2 is just as interesting. What happens is, after queen takes a2, you again go and attack the queen a1. So rook a1. It's very important to play the rook a1. And queen b2 is the only move black queen has. Continuation, bishop c3. Black queen. Soumitra is going to enjoy this again. Black queen trapped. This is an amazing way to trap the queen. Of course, everything was planned. The is the queen is trapped. Yes, trapping the trapped queen. Mr. Trapped Queen, okay, but yeah. Mr. I Trapped Queen makes a win back. Now, let us go back, rewind this game, and we will conclude this session for today. But not before we recap. So let's go back, let's rewind the cassette. Rewind the cassette. The way it begins is e4, c5, d4, the start of Smith-Morra. Black denies the Smith-Morra by playing d6. Remember, you take, of course. Then it's not that black will recapture immediately. Black plays queen a5 check, and after knight c3, then black recaptures the pawn. So the poison pawn trap actually is with the move d5. You push the pawn to d5, queen check, bishop d2, attacking the queen, queen b6, now knight c3. The b2 pawn is the poison pawn. Queen takes b2, rook b1, queen a3. Now important move, knight b5. Very important, threatening the queen as well as the fork c7. There is nothing that black can do. We saw queen a4, knight sacrifice. If knight is taken, then you have bishop e5, a deadly fork. And if the knight is not taken, and king d8, then of course knight f7 check. King can continue on the dark square, but not for long. Bishop f4, e5, bishop takes e5 check, bishop takes d6. Now black king has to enter the light color, and the bishop check. However, going back to this position, here white queen can take on a2, but this time the trap is simpler. Rook a1, queen b2, the only square for the queen, and bishop c3 traps for queen. Again, the best move here for black is to give the queen for the rook, at least take the rook. And well, white is completely winning here. Well, I hope you had a great time with the poison pawn. The theme today was the poison pawn. There are more games to show. We've taken a look at 3 of those games that I had to show you. But we'll continue this some other day. So let's treat it as the poison pawn part 1. We'll come back to part 2 soon. And the next time there are already requests for positions and leeches games. So somewhere I'll do the game Shittage. I'll go back to positions. We can learn from them. But for now, we will stop. And all the best for exams if you're preparing for those. It's that time of the year. Thanks for your time. Hope that I added to your knowledge. Had a great time. Bye bye, guys.